Okay, this task asks us to construct a congruent angle. A congruent angle is going to be an angle that has the same measure. Okay, so they've started us off here with this angle, CAB, and also with this line segment DF. So to construct a congruent angle, we're going to need to draw another line segment that's going to look something like this. Okay, but of course we're going to use our compass tool to create a precise congruent angle. We're not going to just eyeball it. Step number one, we're going to start with our compass tool. That's this circle tool right here. We're going to click on the compass tool and we're going to set the radius. And I want to set the radius equal to AG. Okay, we could use any radius that we want, but I'm just deciding to use AG because I think it's a good size circle for this area that we have to work with. So we're going to set our radius to AG, and then remember I can move my mouse around to move that circle, and I'm going to center that circle at the vertex of angle CAB. So right there on point A, and then I'm going to go ahead and click to set that circle. All right. The next thing that we are going to do is I see a point of intersection with this angle and the circle, so I'm going to click on my point tool, and I'm just going to mark that point of intersection. Now we're going to repeat this process. Okay, we're going to make another circle of the same size, same radius, and this time we're going to center it over here in our construction, our new congruent angle that we're trying to construct. So I'm going to click on the compass tool. I want to set my radius to AG because I want it to be the same size. I'm going to drag my mouse over, put it on point D, which is going to be this vertex of this new congruent angle, and I'm going to go ahead and click. Okay, and again, we have a point of intersection here with the circle and our line segment, and I'm going to mark that with a point. We're going to add one more circle to this construction, and this circle is going to be centered right here at point I. But this radius is not going to be the same. It's not going to be AG. This radius is going to be GH. Okay, and you could even draw a line segment from G to H to help yourself kind of remember what that is and what you're going to set your radius to. You can do the line segment or not, that's optional. So let's go ahead and make that circle. So we're going to click on the compass tool, set the radius to GH, and we want to center it over here on I. So the first two circles were the same radius. They're both centered at the vertex of the angles. One centered on A, one centered on D. The second circle is very different. It has a different radius. The radius is GH, and it is centered right here at point I. It's centered at the point of intersection of this circle and this line segment. Okay, be careful that you don't center it on F or on the endpoint. You want to center it on that point of intersection. Now we have a new point of intersection where the two circles overlap. This point right here. So I'm going to click on the point tool and mark that point. And that point is the point that we need to draw our congruent angle, to finish that congruent angle. We're going to connect the dots from D to J. So I'm going to click on my line segment tool. I'm going to click on D, and I can either click on J or I can kind of pull through J if you want to make it a little bit longer and click. And that is our congruent angle. Notice that they look very, very similar. Our eyes can see that they look congruent. They look the same, okay? So if you ended up with a construction where your second angle did not look like your first angle, this angle is obtuse. It's greater than 90 degrees. If you ended up with an angle that's acute, that's very, very, that has a very small angle measure, you might be able to notice that you've done something incorrectly. Okay, so that concludes our construction of a congruent angle.